The Adoptable Pet of the Week is sponsored by Especially for Pets, celebrating the bond between people and pets. Of course, there are dogs and cats available for adoption at the Lowell Humane Society, but they also have a variety of other interesting, loving pets. Recently, I met with marketing and fundraising manager Crystal Arnott, who introduced me to Archer, a 1-year-old feisty, fun, and frolicking ferret.
So this is Archer. Archer is a 1-year-old ferret. He's a neutered male, and he came to the shelter because his owner had adopted several ferrets from a pet store as they got older, because she just felt bad that they were growing up in the pet store, and then realized that she was very overwhelmed with so many ferrets. So she brought in 4 ferrets to us. 2 have since found homes, and we have Archer and another ferret still looking for a home. As you can see, they're very playful, very curious. They love to get into trouble, and they can squeeze into the tiniest little spots. So you always want to make sure if you get a ferret that your house is ferret proofed, and not going to allow them to get loose. Archer is pretty unique ferret in terms of his markings, with that white spot right on his head and his little white toes. Typically you'll see a very dark mask on their face, and he has just a very light mask. Ferrets can be great pets that can get along with all sorts of other animals. Archer in particular is quite feisty when he plays, so whatever type of animal he plays with or hangs out with definitely will need to be able to keep up with him, and give his play style right back to him. He can be a little bit feisty and fresh. He definitely needs a ferret experienced adopter because of that feisty nature. You'll want someone that will read when he's getting really worked up and it's time for a break. But ferrets are pretty cool. They can actually be litter box trained, and a lot of people have free roaming ferrets in their house. It does take quite a bit of ferret proofing to do that, because they can squeeze into the tiniest spaces and get into your walls. So it's very important to ferret proof or monitor when they're out of their cage. This is a ferret being very playful and silly. The first time I saw it, I was very nervous from that. And I learned afterwards that it was a playful behavior. He's kind of like a dog play bow. He's asking for you to have fun with him. So in Massachusetts, ferrets do require a rabies vaccine. So it is important to make sure that you have a relationship with your vet, not only for the vaccination, but also for health and care of your pet. They do need annual visits, just like any other pet, to make sure that they are doing well and being healthy. They do require a specific diet. It's really important to feed them a healthy ferret-specific diet, because they do require some different vitamins and minerals than a cat or a dog would. So you want to make sure that you do your research and get them on the appropriate diet. Ferrets, most of the time you can cage them, but you do want to make sure they have ample space so they can play and jump around, but also give them out of cage time to play in a large space like a living room. And you also want to make sure you give them that one-on-one contact daily and handling so that they get used to being held and pet. They can be very snuggly after a good play session. They like to just sit on your lap and cuddle with you once they're tuckered out, and they do sleep an awful lot. They are known for cuddling up in a hammock or under a blanket. They really like to be pretty cozy.
To learn more about Archer or any of the other pets available now for adoption, or to find out how to donate, volunteer, foster a pet, or fill their wish list, go to lowellhumanesociety.org or visit them at 951 Broadway Street in Lowell. Call 978-452-7781. For Westford Cat, I'm Patty Stalker.